In this video, I'll be talking about low self-esteem and identity issues and the kind of things that could cause them. I'll also be covering how to recognize hidden low self-esteem, and as usual, I'll be sharing a lot of my own journey and experience too. Hi and welcome to my channel. Libertatem is the Latin word for freedom, and through my videos I like to explore and discuss and also share my experiences of the kind of things that can really affect our lives. And today I'm talking about low self-esteem. And I must address the fact it has been a while since my last video. I don't know if you can see or not, but I do indeed have a baby on board, which explains why I've been a lot more sporadic with post and with filming. So thank you so much for your patience. But there's so much to unpack about this video, so I don't want to digress too much. Let's jump straight in. Our self-esteem can be described as the true thoughts and feelings that we have about ourselves. So a person with low self-esteem or low self-worth may feel or behave as though they are inadequate or incapable across multiple areas of their life. So I want to re-emphasize what I mean about feel or behave, because like I mentioned previously, it's possible within yourself to think, to feel like you are quite confident and you don't have self-esteem issues, but yet the way that you allow people to treat you, the way that you truly feel about yourself, the kind of things that you're willing to tolerate from others says otherwise. And I want to give some examples to help explain what I mean and to help you recognize what could be hidden low self-esteem issues. The first example is a willingness to compromise on your integrity, inner peace or happiness just to gain a little bit of attention or affection from somebody who doesn't really treat you right or value you. And the second is quite similar, and this is being dishonest with yourself and others, but more importantly being dishonest with yourself about the depth of negative treatment that you are receiving, sometimes behind closed doors, from partners and loved ones. The third is a constant need to overachieve so you can be affirmed by others. So at times when you're introducing yourself to new people, you lead on your titles and your achievements. And the fourth example, I guess, is a mindset that makes you believe that others are more worthy than you are when it comes to favorable treatment, love and respect. And by that I mean that there are things that you will tolerate from partners or from other people that you would never expect them to tolerate because you think that they deserve much better. But what you don't recognize is that in thinking that and in taking on that mindset, you are indirectly telling yourself that you don't deserve better. Over the years, I have ticked many of the above boxes. Those were a lot of my own examples that I just shared with you. Something clearly wasn't right, because on the outside I seemed quite confident, I seemed quite accomplished, but yet internally I felt quite valueless. And this was so evident in the kind of things I was willing to do and the kind of things that I was willing to tolerate and accept from others. Back then I was, and I still am, so valuable in God's eyes. And, so are you, we all are, but I just couldn't see it. And I can't sit before you now and say, I couldn't see it because I wasn't a Christian, etc., etc. I was a Christian, although fairly new in a kind of way in my faith and not really truly knowing who God was at the time. I was a Christian, I was going to church, I was part of a home group, but yet I struggled to believe who God said I was, because the evidence across my life said a totally different thing. So it was hard to connect the two. I just felt so valueless, and healing and restoration, and I guess building confidence, didn't come until I was able to go back and I guess almost one by one or area by area, understand what caused those insecurities and address the root causes and work through it that way. I'd like to share what some of those root causes were for me, as well as touch on, you know, other things that could be at the root cause of our identity issues. And when I say root cause, I mean, you know, sometimes something can happen. For example, you may have been bullied when you were younger and you may have thought you'd gotten over it, but as an adult today, you still have some kind of fears and insecurities without realizing that it's linked back to the time you were bullied. And that's what I mean by root causes. So I want to share some of, I guess, my story and some of the things I had to address in the hope that, you know, maybe they will connect with you in some way. And I've picked things that I think are quite specific to my audience based on the kind of messages and comments that I receive. So the first thing I want to talk about is parental abandonment and rejection. If you're already a subscriber, you may already have watched my video on parental rejection. So I'm not going to repeat everything that I put in that video, but in summary, I grew up feeling quite rejected and unwanted, and it really affected my confidence from a young age. And my thoughts and feelings growing up were that, you know, if my own parents didn't, you know, love or value me enough to be around to protect me, then why should anybody else? Because as I was shipped around and got caught up in different abusive situations and then got caught up with some heavy force early responsibility, my confidence and I guess my self-esteem just was crushed from an early age. So I didn't have a strong foundation to build on in the first place. And I do detail this in my video, so please try and watch it if you have any parental wounding as well. And what can happen when we are, I guess, when we experience rejection from such an early age is that we become a lot more sensitive to it. So every time that we are rejected as we are growing up, we kind of see it as more experiential evidence that there's something wrong with us and that we are not worth loving. The second area or root cause that, you know, that affected my self-esteem and my sense of self-worth is something that I have grouped together and called defilement. And in summary, it's sexual abuse. And I'm sorry if this is quite heavy for some of you, but I know that a lot of you watching would have experienced some form of sexual abuse. So I wanted to share, I guess, my story so you know that you are not alone, even though the circumstances may be different. In summary, when I was I'd literally just turned 13, I think. My mum was arrested abroad and then was jailed abroad. And so the younger sister of one of my mum's friends moved in with myself and my siblings to kind of be our overseer, like our guardian. But unfortunately, she was a prostitute, and not long after she moved in, our family home became a brothel, a place where prostitution took place. Different men came in and out, and another one of her prostitute friends also was in and out a lot with people. So it was a very, very cloudy and uncomfortable period of my life. They exposed me to and showed me things that I had no business seeing at such a young age. And unfortunately, I was also molested by one of the people that were coming to see her. And then later on, I was then raped too. So when I shared what had happened to me, nothing was done. The police weren't called, nobody took it seriously. It was almost like I was valueless, and that was what I believed about myself at 14, that my body was valueless. So then I didn't value it anymore either. So when I was raped again when I was in my 20s, this time I didn't tell a soul because I had learned a lie, and that lie was that people like me don't have value, we don't have worth, so it just didn't matter anyway. The third area that affected my self-esteem and my self-worth is the things that other people said about me and spoke over me. And a lot of these things were quite negative. They were said in anger, ignorance and frustration. And I've since forgiven them. But unfortunately, you know, in my brokenness, I already had such negative thoughts and feelings about myself. So when other people said things that reaffirmed horrible things, feelings that I already had about myself, it's almost like I empowered the words they were speaking over me through believing and accepting them, and they then kind of became like curses over my life. And I talk about this a lot more in my video called how negative curses can become your reality, and also how to break them. So please watch them if that applies to you. And so the fourth area, and there's one more after this, so please bear with me, is church hurt. You know, when we feel let down by God because of things that other Christians have done, and also because of those things that we feel like God could have stopped from happening and he didn't. You know, I had been deeply publicly humiliated by Christian leaders. And I felt, you know, really shamed, and I felt really rejected. And so I really did feel let down by God for a certain period of my life. And it really did affect my confidence and self-esteem, because I really struggled to connect with, you know, this God who loved me and wanted to protect me, when, you know, all the church and other Christians were doing were hurting me, in my mind anyway. And I do talk about this in a video called you know, overcoming church hurt and rejection. I think that's the title, but I'll link to it in the description. And the last area that I want to share with you today is secret shame. You know, nearly everything I've shared with you and things that I haven't had time, to share with you today became secret shame. You know, I was not only ashamed of things I had done, I was also ashamed of the things that were done to me that were beyond my control. And even more so as you grow up and you get to realize that actually my beginnings weren't normal, and it's not the same story for everybody else. You kind of know from an early age that there are things you can't openly discuss, and it's really hard carrying all of those things inside all the time. And that is why secret shame is one of those things that really affected my self-worth and my identity. So those are all of the examples that I'm going to share today. And of course, all of them have been my examples. And again, my story is not your story. The list is not definitive, but I wanted to share those things because I hoped that, you know, they will resonate with some of you in some way, or at least get you thinking about what could be at the root cause of, you know, any self-esteem or identity issues that you may be having. And of course, you know, like I said, that list is not definitive. There are other things that could be at the root cause of any self-esteem issues that you may have, including, I guess, bullying, betrayal, the breakdown of a relationship, and, you know, it could be generational and many other things. But one thing that I will say is that, you know, whether or not you know the root cause or not, if you have recognized that, you know, you do have self-esteem issues based on the examples I gave in the beginning, you know, about how maybe you let people treat you and the true feelings that you have about yourself, I will encourage you not to ignore that, but to think about ways that you can begin to address that. And for me, it wasn't a one-time event. It really was a journey. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, because I say this across all of my videos. You really do need to be patient with yourself, and you really do need to give God time to work on you. I didn't get to where I am today overnight, and I'm sure there's things that I'm still going to be working on in the future. It really was a journey and a process, and it's not something that we can cover in one video. And it's one of the reasons why I started Libertatem TV. Libertatem means freedom, not just for self-esteem issues, but across the board for things that can affect our quality of life, because a lot of these things are lies and we don't have to believe them or put up with them. And I now have a selection of videos that you can go and watch, and maybe some of them could help you get to the root cause of any self-esteem issues or any other things that could be affecting your quality of life. I have videos about actually the first one is quite good. It's called if I say so myself, it's called How to Recognize and Work on Your Issues, and it's great as a first step if you feel like something's wrong but you don't know where to start. And then I've got topics like how to forgive, which is so important, dealing with parental rejection, dealing with church hurt, generational issues, sexual soul ties and how to get over exes, things like that. So please do have a look at what's there, and you can watch these videos, and within these videos, there are prayers and there are tips that can help you, I guess, deal with or process anything that may have come up whilst watching the video. So I'm not going to put like a long-winded prayer at the end of this video. I know that I usually do that. What I will do is I will just do a prayer of invitation and just a prayer of revelation for God to begin to reveal to you what could be at the root cause of any of your self-esteem issues. And so you can allow him in to really walk with you on this journey. And I pray that you do, and I pray that it really does work for you. Today I am such a different person. Not that I'm extremely confident. I still have general insecurities, like I feel a bit fat making this video, but obviously it's because I'm pregnant. I'm not saying that I became super confident overnight, but something has changed, and that is evident in not only how I like to believe I think about myself, but in the way that I treat myself, the treatment that I accept from others, and the way that I value my time, resources, and my body. There is a definite change, and it's available for all of us. You are so valuable and so precious, and the past does not define you. My past hasn't changed. I'm still the same person who committed shameful acts herself, who was abused, who was rejected, who went through all of that stuff. My past didn't change, but I can sit here today and look back and see things that I have been forgiven for, that I have forgiven others for, and that God has helped me to overcome. So it's all about perspective, and God can really take you to a new perspective through his forgiveness and his healing. So if you would like to, I guess, begin that journey, the words are going to come up now. It's just a short prayer, and because I'm because I'm Team Jesus, I like to start with a prayer of invitation, and then it's just a short prayer asking God to help you address the issue. So like I said, if you're ready and you want to participate, the words are going to come up right now. Dear God, thank you for sending Jesus to die on the cross for me, and please forgive me for anything I have done that was wrong. I want to know you, and I invite you in to be the Lord over every area of my life. I ask that according to your will, you reveal to me any self-esteem issues that I may have and their root causes. Please teach me how to see myself as you see me and truly love myself. Please lead me to people and resources that can help, and please grant me wisdom and patience for the journey ahead. In Jesus' name, amen. If you have just prayed that, I would like to say another big amen from me, and that is the end of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and if it has blessed you in any way, please do hit the thumbs up, please do subscribe to stay connected, and please do share it with others who you think it may also help. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to film again, because I will be a new mummy very soon. If I can squeeze in one more video before I take a short maternity break, then I will do so. If I can't, then please bear with me. You can stay connected on my Facebook or my Instagram. I do post on there a lot more frequently, and I do also edit shorter clips and post it on Instagram and on Facebook too. So yeah, again, thank you so much for your time. Have a blessed day, week, whatever it is that you're going to be doing, and please don't forget to check out the other videos. Take care and God bless you. Bye.